13 months after this whole thing has started, and it's finally done. Giannis Antetokounmpo is finally a Miami Heat. Let's talk about it.
Perfect.
So, Giannis finally got traded to the Miami Heat. Yeah, literally last night while everybody was sleeping. And I want to talk about this trade and tell you about like a little bit of what I think the Heat, how the Heat should move or what they should do moving forward. If you didn't know, Giannis and Bobby Portis got traded to the Heat for Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez, Cass, 3 first-round picks, a pick swap, and a second-rounder. Everybody and their mom is saying that the Miami Heat's roster is gutted, and that could be further from the truth. Yes, they need to re-sign Norman Powell. Yes, they need to have a couple of conversations with a couple of players. But honestly, I think that they have enough talent to put them in title contention. A lot of people are saying, oh, that they were a play-in team. So if they had so many assets, then why are they a play-in team? One, Tyler Hero is always and forever hurt. So like he's a non-factor on that team. He's great when he plays, but getting him to be healthy enough to play is one of the biggest factors in basketball. The ability to stay healthy is mainly important, if not more important, than the ability to put the ball in the hoop. So if you can't be on the court, you're not effective anyways. So that's one of the biggest concerns that I had with Tyler Hero and them saying, oh, if they're such a great team, then why are they always in the play-in? For one, your second best option or first best option in scoring is not there. It's never there. So like there's that. And then the rotation of people, they had so many young pieces that they tried to develop that like between the young pieces and the older pieces, like trying to combine them didn't really make sense. It's the same problem that the Spurs are gonna have with Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox. You're paying De'Aaron Fox all this money, so Dylan Harper is gonna get the butt end of the stick because for one, he's a rookie, he's younger, he's a rookie, and two, you're not paying him $30 million a year. So the same problem is with Miami was having. You had Jimmy Butler, but you had Jaime and you had Nikola Jovic. So it's like you're gonna take away Jimmy Butler's minutes to play them, and you had Highsmith. You gonna take Jimmy away to do that? No, like that logically doesn't make sense. Now that Tyler's gone, you get to develop these younger players, as in like Jovic is going to get more spin because Jaime's gone. So Jovic will get more spin. Davion Mitchell will get a lot more responsibility put on his shoulders. Anyways, I'm rambling. Miami has to look at Giannis and be like, what do we need to win with Giannis and Bam, essentially as your main people? And if you take a step back and you look at the Bucks when they won their first title and their title with Giannis, you had mad floor spacing, you had a point guard that could defend and handle the rock, you had a stretch five, and then you had a co-star that can close, shoot from all levels, from three, midi, and at the hoop for the most part. And I think that the Heat are more set up to accommodate and achieve those goals and basically try to recreate what the Bucks had that they couldn't recreate because of tax problems and all this other stuff. You have a floor stretching five, and Bam can play one, or Bam can play 5, 4, and the 3 in reality. He can stretch the floor from all aspects of the floor. Man literally just dropped 80 points in a game this season. So I think he'll pair perfectly with Giannis. But what you need to do is you need to have a conversation with Andrew Wiggins. Try to get him to extend that contract and come in for a little bit less. You need to try to re-sign Norman Powell for a lower amount. I don't think that'll happen. Norman's in his bag era. So I think that he can go. But I think what you need to do is you need to try to sign and trade him to a team that has like some assets that like they're willing to get rid of because they're getting Norman Powell. Norman Powell brings playmaking and scoring. So you need to look at like a Detroit Pistons, which they have, I hate to say this because he was just on their team, but like a Duncan Robinson, they had, like that's a person that you need around Giannis, that floor spacer that can knock down. And when he's hot, but that can knock down a couple threes in any given night and go crazy at the 3-point line. And then you need to re-sign Fontecchio because he's literally Duncan Robinson, but can play better defense. So like he's a priority for Miami. And then you have like mad free agents that you can surround around Giannis. I have a couple up here that I pulled up, like Tim Hardaway Jr. can play defense and shoot the three. Quentin Grimes, he's a good backup guard for Davion Mitchell, or he can start at the 2. He started a couple times for Philly. That's a good player. You have Kevin Huerter, that he's literally, when he was in SAC and he was in Atlanta, he was spraying the ball. You have Luke Kennard. Granted, Luke Kennard might want it back, but he kind of fell off in the play playoffs, so you can kind of like gauge that a little bit. Chris Middleton, his old partner over in Milwaukee. And a sneaky pick is Gabe Vincent. He played for Miami. He had a breakout season for Miami. He fits in well with Giannis as that guard that can score a little bit from three, or score from three and then play make it a little bit. So I think that he would fit in well. And honestly, I think that the biggest hole that they have is depth right now, as far as like trying to figure out what they're going to do with the players that they have. I think they trade Jovic to like create cap space for like players that I just mentioned, and they lack a little bit in size as far as like your bench from the center or power forward position. You could alternate Giannis and Bam, but at the end of the game, you want both of them on the team together. So, or like on the floor together. So I have a couple centers as well that I think that would make a great addition. Nick Richards, I think Nick Richards would make a great addition, but I don't think that he'll accept the amount of money that Miami will be able to offer. So I think that's an L, but I think he would fit well. John Collins, I think would fit well. I don't think he really plays the 5, and you kind of need a 5 to be out there to be able to grab boards and stretch the floor, especially with like Wemby, Cat, Joel. You need a 5 that's gonna be able to like bang with them, and John Collins isn't one of those. Nick Richards really isn't one of those. Another one is Zach Collins. He can shoot the 3 at a high clip. I think he was shooting like over 40% last season, but that's also one of those bodies that like doesn't really bang. But these are players that I think may accept like that lower tier money. These are players that like I think that won't necessarily accept that lower tier money, but will fit well. The ones that actually genuinely think that they'll accept lower money because they either didn't play as well last season or something happened to where like injuries or something, but they can still benefit Miami as far as being like a big body that can shoot threes and grab rebounds. First, the biggest name that makes the most sense for me, in my opinion, is Nikola Vucevic. Vuce played for the Celtics. The Celtics traded Anthony Simons for him. Did not play him in the playoffs at all. So he's not happy with that. He's gone. And he didn't really play that well with the Celtics. So I think that he would accept that lower tier contract just to prove his worth, especially playing with a ball dominant player in Giannis and being able to spread the floor and grab rebounds. I think he would be a perfect fit in Miami alongside Bam. Like I said, Bam can play the 3. So you run like a 5 with Vooch, you run Giannis at the 4, Bam at the 4, and then you run Giannis or Bam at the 3. That's a problem. That's a big lineup. If they can't get Vooch, I think coming off the bench, you can get Andre Drummond for that lower contract. Again, Andre Drummond sounds crazy, but he's been able to shoot threes, as we saw in this last playoffs. He's been shooting threes at a higher clip, and I feel like the more threes he's allowed to shoot, the better it is. But coming off the bench, if he shoots 2 threes a game, that's fine. But he'll be able to shoot more because of Giannis being there and being like that hub in the paint. So I think Andre Drummond is a good pickup. And then Marvin Bagley. I think Marvin Bagley is like an underrated pick. Granted, he hasn't been like on the bestest of teams, but I think Marvin Bagley playing in Miami with Bam, with Giannis, with that Heat culture of like structure, I think Marvin Bagley will like live up to what we used to think, or at least like a little bit up to, not full potential, but I think that Marvin Bagley will raise some eyebrows and people will be like, yo, like, I didn't know Marvin Bagley still had it like that. If he was to go to Miami and be in that culture of like militant type of culture. So yeah, I don't think Miami's in a bad spot at all. I think they actually have room to build. And again, judging this based off of the first year, even the first couple weeks or couple games after they trade for him, like when Braun went to Miami and D Wade and Chris Bosh, they didn't win their first year. So like next year will be the year to judge this team, but you gotta give them some time to build, some time to put players around them. I think they got some people that they got some free agents that they can use to make like an impact now. But as far as this team, like, I'm not really too worried about it. I think Pat Riley got some stuff up his sleeve, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. Free agency just started. I got a couple more videos I need to make about a couple other free agents. Stay tuned. If you enjoyed it, let me know. Until next time, I'll see you later.